I don't know about you, but I'm not one who likes to spend a lot of time in front of the mirror. I don't know, maybe when I was younger, I would do that a little bit more. But, nowadays, I just don't spend a lot of time in front of the mirror because, what's there looks a little bit different than it used to. I know when I was younger, you got to make sure you look all right and everything before you go out in public. You got to make sure your hair's just right. You make sure you look just right. When I was in adolescence, make sure there was none of those crazy, weird, pimply things popping out of your face. Nowadays, as long as I don't have anything green in front of me and my hair doesn't go out and do wacky things, I'm pretty much satisfied. But what is it about this image idea or this idea that we have to look right and the outside of us has to be exactly right in order to kind of go out in public? I mean, who cares what our outsides look like? It's really what is inside that matters, right? I think that's really true. It's interesting. There is this part of the story of creation that I have always found interesting, and to be honest with you, I've never really been sure exactly what to make of this passage. But in the creation story, it says this: Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over every wild animal of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." And then it says, "So God created humankind in God's image. In the image of God, he created them male, and he created them female." That's a really intriguing portion of scripture. We are created in the very image of God. I mean, what exactly does that mean? I know it doesn't have anything to do with the outsides of who we are. I mean, it has to do with the insides of who we are, the motivations, the drive, the character of who God created us to be on the inside is the very image that God wanted to be reflected in humankind. Wow, that seems like a huge responsibility sometimes, doesn't it? To be created in the very image of God. I mean, we know that we fail all the time at trying to live up to that image that God must put before us. And yet that's what Scripture says. God created us in the image of God. And sometimes as hard as I am on myself, maybe I'm just as hard, if not harder, on other people. Because it doesn't say in Genesis chapter 1 that God created me alone in the image of God. It doesn't say that God created the good people in the image of God, whatever good people means. It didn't say that God created those who look exactly like I look and act like I look are the ones who are created in the image of God. It said humankind. All of humankind. All those we judge to be good or bad or everywhere in between are made in the image of humankind. All people. Those that don't look like you, act like you, necessarily even think like you, they too are created in the image of God. Those who reflect a different sense of who they understand themselves to be and their sexuality, the other nationalities, even the other religious forces that are around us. All people are created in the image of God. And we reflect that image, or don't reflect that image, in things we say and do, but it doesn't take anything away from the idea that we were made in God's image. That person that passes you by on the street that you really don't care for, they too are in the image of God. All people are created in the image of God. Today, maybe let that set with you just for a moment. What does it mean that all people were created in the image of God? And how do I respect, therefore, all other people as reflective of God's image as well? It's not easy, but it's actually a part of God's creation. And it's a part, therefore, of our calling as well.